How are you?
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Sherry.
I think we're ready whenever.
Do we have a quorum?
We do. We needed 4 and we have 5, so we're in good
Okay,
shape.
all right, well, good. Okay, good. All right, well, we'll call the meeting to order. First off, want to start, introduce yourself and your,
Sandra Greenberg from West Boynton.
Stanley Siegel, Boca Raton, West Boca Community Council.
Sherry Brown, District 4.
Paul Dumars, representative of the Finance Committee.
Mike Burke, CFO.
Leanne Evans, treasurer.
Susan Asley, Principal Dreyfus School of the Arts, representing the principals.
Ware Littlejohn from the Office of General Counsel.
okay, and I'm George Elmore. I guess I'm still continuing chair. Okay, all right. We're going to move number 2 to number 6, right?
Right. We'll do the election of the chair and vice chair at the end of the meeting.
End
just
of
to
the
make
meeting.
it go a little
Okay.
smoother.
Okay, so we, all right, any public comment? We won't allow you. Okay. All right. I know him for years. Okay, okay.
That's a joke.
Yeah. All right, the minutes of August 31st are in your packet. Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
Thank you. New business.
Yes, we've got, I'm filling in today for Ms. Heather Knust. We've got 2 reports. We've got the first quarter through September 30th, and then you'll see also a second report through December 31st. You'll notice on the first report, September 30th, there's not a lot of the money coming in from the quarter mill yet, because people begin paying their taxes in November when they get and they'll get a discount for paying early. So you'll see a stark contrast from the September report to the December report in terms of revenue that's been brought in. This, Leanne's got up on the screen here a little summary from past years, but last year we brought in $45.7 million through the quarter mill, and the forecast for this year is that'll increase to about $48.1 million. And we've got nearly $52 million worth of teachers that could be funded through the referendum: art, music, PE, our magnet and choice programs, and technical teachers. So we could pay for as many as 734 teachers, or 0.5. We've got a half a teacher out there. And then as the attachments behind this give you a little more detail, and you can go through, we go through school by school and show where those positions are allocated. Sevens, we just, click that open for a second. Just at the top of the report there, I mentioned, the revenue. So at this point, through September 30th, we had brought in very little tax revenue. We had only $538,000, only $26,550 was attributed to the quarter mill. But we expect to bring in $48.1 million. And then there's a summary of the teachers by area there. So that's the 734.5 teachers broken down by their subject area. And then if you scroll through further, you just see school by school where these teachers are having an impact. So that's really the September report. I think if we look at the December report, that's a little bit more meaningful because we've got a little more activity as the taxes have started rolling in a big way. Okay, you're fast. Yeah, please. Yeah, let's go ahead. This is my eye exam for the year as well. So as of month end December, we've already brought in $39.3 million of the expected $48.1 million, which is more than we've spent this year. So we're ahead of the game. Ms. Evans is always managing our money. If those of you on the Finance Committee know, we take advantage and invest it to get those interest earnings. But the quarter mill is working well, and we continue to be able to pay. At this point, we added 3 teachers since the September report, so we're up to about 737 teachers currently funded through the referendum. And that surplus, we're ahead. We've only spent about $19.7 million, but that'll change as we get through the school year and those teachers earn their salary and benefits. So that's really the 2 reports. I'd be happy to take any questions. Obviously, the big thing that's changed since our last meeting is the referendum has been renewed for 4 more years, and it's been increased to a full mill. And I know you're all probably pretty well aware of that, but we're really excited because we're going through our budget development process right now. We've issued school budgets for next school year, and we're able to now really add those additional positions for school police, for mental health. The principals, this was our best, I think. Hopefully Dr. Adley won't disagree with me, but I know when Ms. Knus rolled out the budgets to the principals, they were very pleased because we finally, for years after going through fairly not being able to do much for them, we're actually able to start adding more positions that are going to have a big impact. So we've had a few board workshops with our on the budget with the school board, and we've had some workshops dedicated to mental health, and we're working closely with our Chief of Police, Chief Kitzrow, to put all these referendum dollars to good use. So, Mr. Elmore, that's kind of the report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay. Any questions?
You haven't determined all the contracts for this coming year.
With
These
you mean
custodians.
yeah. So on
everything is contracted out, where you're safe, money-wise.
Do you mean like employee bargaining contracts?
Yeah.
So we recently settled with our teachers. We've settled their salary. We've also settled on a memorandum of understanding on how the referendum dollars will be used. It's right in line with what we told the voters, where the retention supplements, the $1,000 for teachers with at least 1 year, and then once teachers have 5 years, they get a $5,000 supplement, and $10,000 for 10 years. So that was a nice, smooth, easy process. We've been in alignment with the teachers all the way throughout that referendum process. So that's been done, as well as we were able to provide a 3% on average salary increase this school year, which is pretty good when you look around the state, and when you consider we're getting about a 1% revenue increase on a per student basis each year. So we're working hard to take advantage of any savings we can. And we did have some vacancies and other things that helped us shore that up a little bit. We are in bargaining. We settled with our group. It's called, the acronym's ASOP, but it's the Secretarial and Office Professionals. And we settled with them for also a 3% deal, and we'll be bargaining on Monday with SEIU, FPSU, which is, that would include our custodians, our tradespeople, our bus drivers, and other support personnel. So we have not settled that contract yet. They had a change in their negotiating team and their leader, basically, that was unexpected. So those negotiations got pushed back a couple weeks, but we hope to get moving with them. And then we also have to negotiate with PBA, which is our school police officers. And the non-represented employees who are not part of a bargaining unit have agreed to a 3% deal. So we're trying to do roughly 3% for all of our employees for this year.
Any other questions? Okay. My quick question, this committee is only addressing the quarter of that mill, is that correct?
Well, this committee, by its policy, with the referendum passing now for another 4 years, this committee's scope is going to expand next year. We'll be overseeing the full 1 mill, which will include what you're used to, these 700 plus art, music, and PE teachers, but then you'll also be seeing reports for the teacher retention supplements, the school police, and then the mental health work. But the format and the structure of the committee remains the same. We'll just be overseeing a bigger slice of the budget.
Will you add members? I mean, the one.
We haven't. This committee's membership is established by board policy, and at this point, there hasn't been any discussion about adding members.
Well, actually, the number that we have now, we've not been able to fill that number. So,
yeah,
Is it automatic from the last contract to this one? the last referendum to this one. I don't remember, I've been on this committee more than once. I just thought it was a rollover last time.
Yes,
yeah.
we passed the first quarter mill in 2010, and then we renewed it in 2014. So this committee, and you probably were a founding member, so we're about 8 years into this now.
Right.
And fortunately, we get to go another 4 years thanks to the voters. And again, this is a big change. We're going from a quarter mill to a full mill. It's, when we see what's happening financially for schools up in Tallahassee, we're very fortunate in Palm Beach County to have the voter support of this, because it's allowing us to do a lot of good things. And, I get to talk to the superintendent and our deputy superintendent, and some of the work we'll be doing in mental health and even with our school police department is going to lead the state, if not the country, and because we've got the resources now to do it.
So our forecast, we will be looking at 200 million?
Yes, sir.
14.
It'll be roughly 200 million a year, or 800 million over the next 4 years. That could grow.
Okay. Okay. Are you all up to this?
It's not for the squeamish.
Where is, I read that the board has hired an attorneys to, I guess, fight the potential lawsuit from the charter. Are those fees going to be coming out of our 200, or who's going to be paying that?
No, sir. The board has approved a contract up to $250,000 at this point. The board several years ago received a settlement through the BP oil spill, and it was about $1.4 million. And we held on to those funds, and we've used them on a couple legal occasions. So I've earmarked $250,000 with the net reserve to cover the potential legal cost of defending this referendum against the charter schools. Cut me off if I say too much, but the board had gotten legal consultation inside and out before we put the issue on the ballot, and feels like they're on a legally sound footing to present the question we did to the voters, and it was very explicit that it was only for non-charter district schools, but we are being challenged in court, so we'll have to monitor that. And obviously, if we had an adverse ruling through that litigation, I'll be bringing some revisions to this budget, that would bring to the committee at that point. Hopefully that will not be the case, because our teachers are excited about the supplements, and we've got good plans on how to spend the money.
Are we going to keep basically 3 different buckets then? One for the first quarter, and then one for the teachers, and one for the security? How are we going to?
Well, we're going to account for everything specifically. It'll be under one kind of umbrella, but we're going to keep one big bucket, really, the 200 million each year, and then we'll report out. We may, we'll have some flexibility. I think it's going to kind of break out to roughly where about half the money goes to the teacher supplements. We'll continue to put about $250,000 into these fine arts positions, and then $250,000 to safety and mental health. That's kind of the broad strokes of how we've planned to budget, and that's what we're building. But we don't want to completely tie our hands, because we could, if we're very successful and we recruit more teachers that come in with this 10 years of experience or more, that could kind of bump up our cost. And some of the investments we're making to expand our school police department, not all of them will be recurring costs, some of them will be one-time cost. But we'll manage through that over the next 4 years. And I think roughly you'll still see, it's not going to change dramatically. We're probably still kind of fall into those broad categories of 50% and 2.25% or 25% and 25%, but we need some flexibility in case we have to shift within those slightly.
Are we going to try to fill up our committee with the people designated?
Yes, that's always a goal. So we want the seats that we do have, we want to
Now
fill up.
look after 200 million, so we better.
Yeah, that might maybe get people more excited about serving than we have money to look after.
Have you estimated how much it would hit the 200 million if the charter schools were successful?
Yeah, I would imagine if they're successful, they'd be seeking to prorate the amount based on our enrollment. Currently, charter schools represent
10%.
about 10% of our kids, so it could be roughly 20 million a year.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. Leanne, we want to do the chair selection?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Who's absent that we can?
Got the list here somewhere.
Yeah. As you might know, the board policy requires the committee select a chair and a vice chair at the first meeting after the start of school. So this is the first meeting we've had where there's been a quorum, so we want to go ahead and do that. The committee chair is limited to 4 consecutive terms, and Mr. Elmore has served 3, so he can serve 1 more year. There's no limits on the vice chair, so I'll just lay that out up front. So I'll take nominations for the committee chair for the upcoming year.
I thought you were vice chair.
I am vice chair.
Yeah,
He is.
Paul, okay,
He is,
okay.
but he can continue to serve. There's no limitation on the number
Oh,
of terms.
no limitation, okay, all right, okay, good, all right.
Okay, so do we have a nomination for the committee chair?
I nominate Mr. George L. Moore for for his last term
Last,
around.
the last.
Are there any other nominations? No, then I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So, Mr. Elmore,
I'll abstain.
congratulations.
I'll abstain. Now, I will nominate Paul as vice chair.
There you go.
Just to be
Second.
sure. All right.
Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations, Mr. Elmore.
Okay, all right,
So we're set for the next year.
all right, good. That's
I think
all
that
of, you
concludes
got
the
your
meeting.
meeting dates,
The next one is May 31st.
first, August 30th, and November 8th, okay, all right.
Okay,
That it?
that's it. Thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank you all.
All right.
you coming here today.
We have our Sales
you.
Tax Oversight Committee at 9:30, and I know some of you are
Very good.
serve on that as well, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Give a short break. Thank you very much.
Okay.